everyone, and welcome to this explainer. It's pretty wild when you think about it. We are currently surrounded by literally more information than at any other point in human history. It's everywhere. But here's the secret. This endless stream of data doesn't actually have to be overwhelming. Today, we're going to explore a framework that will completely transform you from an exhausted information consumer into an empowered, unstoppable creator. So let me ask you a question. How often do you have a truly brilliant idea? Maybe you're driving or in the shower or reading a really fascinating article, only for that idea to just completely evaporate by the time you actually need it. You finally sit down at a blank screen and your mind is just empty. Poof! The information just slips right through your fingers. It's the worst feeling, right? Well, the core issue here is that our biological brains, as amazing as they are kind of fragile. They get easily overwhelmed. But here is the massive paradigm shift. Your biological brain is meant for thinking, not for storing. What you need is a second brain, a super reliable digital intelligence that's actually designed for perfect recall. Truly understanding this difference is the ultimate solution to modern information overload. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the problem with memory, and then we'll officially meet your second brain. After that, we're going to walk through the 4 essential steps to actually build your system. Capture, organize, distill, and express. All right, kicking things off with part 1, the problem with memory, and why we've all essentially become anxious information hoarders. Because we consume so much content these days, we're constantly trying to hold on to everything. The productivity expert David Allen totally hit the nail on the head when he said, "Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them." Think about it. Every single ounce of energy you spend straining to remember a random fact is energy stolen from deep creative thinking. You're basically using your brain as a dusty filing cabinet instead of a high-powered processor. Which perfectly transitions us into part 2. Meet your second brain. And let's explore the digital solution to this chaos. Now, you might be surprised to hear that this solution is actually built on an ancient foundation. For centuries, the world's most brilliant minds used something called a commonplace book to record their interesting findings. For instance, the legendary sci-fi author Octavia Butler would scrape together 25 cents just to buy these little memo pads so she could meticulously track her ideas and observations. Today, we're just upgrading that exact same habit to a digital equivalent. So, what exactly is a second brain? At its core, it's just a digital archive of your most valuable memories, ideas, and knowledge. Think of it like an external tool for thinking. In the exact same way that a digital calendar is an extension of your brain's ability to remember upcoming events, your second brain is simply an extension of your mind's ability to store knowledge. And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually make this happen. The code method. Capture, organize, distill, and express. This is the foundational step-by-step framework that will guide the rest of this explainer. It's your map for navigating the endless streams of information we face every single day. Let's break down step 1 of that method in part 3. Capture. Keep what resonates. When you're facing that endless vortex of daily digital information, remember, the goal is absolutely not to save all of it. We are only looking for what we call knowledge assets. That means insightful highlights, powerful quotes, meeting notes, or just your own personal reflections. The biggest rule of thumb here? Don't overthink it. Seriously, only save the ideas that intuitively spark your curiosity or surprise you. Just capture what actually moves you. Moving right along to step 2 of the method, and part 4 of our explainer, organize for future action. This is where most people completely fail. They organize notes into complex, broad topics, basically creating a giant graveyard of forgotten ideas. Instead, we use the PARA method: projects, areas, resources, and archives. The trick is to organize everything entirely by how actionable it is right now. Is it active this week? Put it in projects. Is it a long-term responsibility? That goes in areas. Just a cool interest you want to reference later? Resources. And when you're done with something, simply move it to archives. You're organizing for action, not trying to build Wikipedia. Next up is step 3 of the method, which is part 5, distill to the essence. Let me give you a really cool real-world example of this. When the legendary director Francis Ford Coppola was making The Godfather, he didn't lug the massive original novel around the set. Nope. He highlighted it, stripped it down, and distilled the whole thing into highly actionable directing notes. He found the pure essence of the story. Finding that core essence is absolutely crucial for managing and executing complex projects. So how do we actually do this? We use a technique called progressive summarization. Step 1, save the source text. Later on, go back and bold the key points. Later still, highlight the absolute best parts of that bolded text. And finally, write a super brief executive summary right at the top. So the crucial point is that you are condensing this information to make it incredibly easy for your future self to grasp the main idea in literally seconds. And finally, the last step of the method, part 6, express and show your work. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the concept of the archipelago of ideas. Because all your quotes, images, and random project scraps are sitting beautifully organized in your second brain, you can finally start connecting them. You can literally remix a discarded presentation from last year with a fascinating quote you read yesterday. Creativity is basically a remix, and your second brain is the ultimate mixing board. All right, bringing it all together in our summary, from consumer to creator. This entire framework isn't just a life hack, it's a profound shift in identity. It's time to officially fire your biological brain from the tedious, exhausting job of remembering tiny details. Instead, you're going to promote your biological brain to the CEO of your life. Let it focus entirely on imagining, strategizing, and innovating, while your digital second brain happily handles the heavy lifting of perfect storage. Which brings us to one deeply important question to end on. Just think about the incredible mental bandwidth you would instantly get back if your digital second brain perfectly remembered absolutely everything for you. What would your biological brain finally be free to create?